that happened literally at 10 afternoon.
Yep.
So, like, this got updated right before I read the previous post about Joe Mixon in the high school. The alleged incident that he had struck a girl in high school. Now, apparently, there has been a retraction from Anthony Hernandez, who was the father of the girl in high school. It says on October 30th, 2017, Hernandez forwarded the text of a clarification to Mixon's lawyer. It says, I've recently learned that a comment I made about Joe Mixon on social media a few years ago is now receiving a lot of attention. I want to explain that comment and clarify that I do not believe Joe ever did anything to hurt my daughter. My daughter went to Freedom High School with Joe, and they've been friends for much of their lives. Once, when they were in high school together, my daughter had a minor disagreement with some of her classmates that got blown out of proportion. Like any father would, I reacted emotionally. Unfortunately, I did so before I had all the facts. Now, having talked to my daughter and investigated the whole story, I realized that I was mistaken about Joe's involvement. I definitely overreacted, and I regret that my words might have given some people the wrong impression about Joe. I know that Joe did not hurt my daughter, did not intend to, and would not do so. Joe and my daughter are still good friends. Joe is a great kid with a bright future in front of him, and he is welcome in my home anytime. And then follows it up with, my family and I value our privacy. I hope that my statement puts this matter to rest. We will not respond to further media inquiries about this.
Well, I got to tell you, that's about the opposite of the original story and what apparently he originally said. And that literally broke right about the time. Honestly, the tweet came out about the time you were reading the original story. I'll just say this about Joe Mixon, and I said it before and I've been called an idiot. I think the range of when he could get drafted, I think it starts in the second round and it runs all the way through undrafted. And, yeah, I think there's a chance he will go undrafted. And I've been called an idiot for it, and I'm fine with that. But one of the reasons why I think he'll be undrafted is because of stories like this. I think once teams start investigating, and by the way, when teams find stuff, they don't go public with it.
No.
It might eventually get out there. I think the scrutiny with which and the microscope with which he'll be under is incredible, and that, you know, that second event with the parking attendant in Norman, Oklahoma, could be what ultimately costs him, because I believe in second chances. I really, really do. However, I also think he got a second chance, and at a time where he couldn't be anything but an angel, went out and did something else that was really, really stupid. And that was threatening this somebody who wrote him a ticket. He balled it up, threw it back at this parking attendant, then revved the engine of his car like he was going to run this person over. It's just ridiculous given what had happened already with him. And so I think I've said it before. I don't find that I would take Joe Mixon probably before a round. I don't think I would take him before the 5th or 6th round. And even then, I might, there's a chance he won't be available. I would still have problems with him. I know people love the talent and all that. I just assume pass. Now, Mel Kiper came out with his grade A mock draft. Now, this is the one, how Kiper grades everybody's draft? This is how everybody can get an A. So Myles Garrett, for instance, goes first. And they get an A for that pick, right?
Sure, because it's a can't-miss guy.
Yeah, and then, you go basically from there on down based upon who's left, everybody's pick that would be an A-grade pick, right? So this is basically who Kiper would take with each team. San Francisco, number 2, Solomon Thomas. That would get an A. Chicago, number 3, Jamal Adams. That would get an A. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he does that for 3 rounds.
Wow.
Yeah. The 3 rounds, A draft for the Detroit Lions. First pick, Kevin King, cornerback, Washington. Kevin King went out and ran like a 4.340 at the combine. I mean, Kevin King is one of the high risers in the draft because of his speed. In the 2nd round, it's Joe Mixon to the Detroit Lions. And in the 3rd round, he has him taking the defensive end from Ohio. His name escapes me. I'm going to have to look it up. And here it is. Terrell Basham. And here's what he writes. King spent 2 seasons at safety, wild with his athleticism, a 4.43 40 and 39.5-inch vertical end frame, 6'3", 200 at the combine. Stick him on the other side of Darius Slay, and the Lions will have 2 building blocks for the future. I might be tempted to go running back in round 1 for the Lions if Christian McCaffrey or Leonard Fournette somehow made it to 21. In this case, I'm giving Detroit the most talented back in the class, Mixon, in the second round. He has off-the-field issues and won't be on draft boards for every team, but he's a phenomenal all-purpose player. Basham is a premium pass rusher who's a great fit end at a 4-3. So that's what Kuiper does for his A-grade draft.
With Mixon, though, I find it interesting because I think he's either on a draft board or he's not. And I think it's a little bit hypocritical of teams if they're going to take the moral ground. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying it would be hypocritical of a team that would leave him off the board because of moral reasons, but then still, okay, but I'll take him in the 6th or 7th round.
Well, see, but here's the thing about it. Here's why it's not hypocritical. It's not leaving him off the board, well, for moral reasons, maybe. But for me, it's not moral reasons why I wouldn't take him before a late round. It's that I think it looks to me like a guy, based upon the available information, that isn't going to be a great decision maker, that really didn't learn from the major event in his life. That's what I think. He has some temper issues, and I think the chance of him screwing up again is better than, most of the rest of the draftable prospects. Now, with that said, it doesn't mean I wouldn't take him. It means I wouldn't take him until the investment isn't much financially, and I'm not passing on anybody else that I think can help my football team. And quite frankly, I think the Lions have a chance to get starters at critical positions in at least the first 3 rounds.
So taking a stand on character is only based on the first few rounds?
No, I'm not taking a... Well, no, it's not... Sort of. Now, you use character and not moral.
Yes, I changed the word this time because I think they're 2 different things. But because what you're talking about is character, not the moral standing that the team's going to say. We have a 0 tolerance policy. Where have I heard this?
But
before, I guess the Lions have that policy.
But it's about an investment, the resource it takes, who I'm passing up, and how much money it costs. Okay? I think you can get starters 1st round, 2nd round, 3rd round in this draft, maybe 4th round, depending on who's available. I'm not passing on any of those guys for Joe Mixon, who it'd be like if we knew what we knew now, you'd never take Titus Young. And you certainly wouldn't have taken him in the 2nd round.
Right.
You might have hoped that you could make him an angel and take him in the 7th round or something like that. But in Mixon's case, yeah, he'd be way down my draft board because I think he's a huge risk.
Right. But again, that's
not moral. That's character.
No, that's character. So to sum it up, character risk can be taken in the later rounds. The late round.
Character risks, injury risks. I mean, I'm a huge Will Likely fan who blew out his knee at Maryland at the very least in the return game, but that's a guy who hurt his knee. Okay, Kendall Beckwith, a linebacker from LSU, I think is a guy that would probably go in the first couple rounds, but hurt his knee. Yeah, I'd take risks in later rounds. I have no problem with that.
And you don't think there's a difference between a character risk or an injury risk?
I think of them as risks.
Okay.
Yep. And I think Mixon is a lot of ways like an injury risk. I'm not passing on more sure things to take that risk. There was a lot there, wasn't there?
Well, I just think
I felt like I was on trial.
I didn't mean for you to feel like you're on trial. I just want to spell it out here because there is a difference.
Gator, the headline of the day, and I want your take on it. We will get to that today at 12:34. It's 97.1 The Ticket.